name is Hannah. I am a doctor of physical therapy, fitness coach, and I recently had a breast augmentation myself. And this is kind of my journey as far as how I am returning back into full fitness. I do bodybuilding style workouts, I do CrossFit, I do yoga, I run, pretty much any type of fitness that you can do, I dabble in it. And my surgeon was very vague on how to return to all of that stuff. His biggest fear was that if he gave me the green light to do anything, that I would run like wildfire and just, go back without any type of progression and either hurt myself or cause damage to the surgery that he did. Now, being a physical therapist, I have a very different approach to recovery, taking people from post-op day one all the way back to full function. And I know there's a lot of people who get this surgery done who don't have access to somebody like this or don't have the knowledge themselves. So I want to bring all of you my experience, my knowledge, and just really show you how it can be done very safely, just to get back to doing what you want to do without having to set yourself back too far. So up until today, I have been on no exercise. It is killing me. I am on day 16 of no exercise. So Friday, a couple days ago, I just got clearance to move my arms overhead, and I've been doing it for a few days now. However, I'm going to take you guys through the routine that I've been doing. It is still a little painful, and painful meaning just like I can feel a really good stretch. I've gained a little bit more motion since a few days ago. However, this is the exact routine that I've been doing, so follow along. All right, so because the pec, right, when you think about the function of the pec, it brings the arms together. Think push-up, think bench press, think pec fly. So laying on your back, even though most low-level exercises are done laying on your back, because of gravity and how the pec muscle functions, that actually makes stretching a little bit harder because we have to work against gravity to move our arms, which engages the pec. So we're actually going to start standing. All right, and we're just gonna start really basic, taking those arms down by your side and reaching up overhead. Now at this point, anything that is quote painful, because it's just range of motion, we really want to try to work through, unless it's like really sharp stabbing pain. If it's just a stretch, I encourage you to keep going. So we're going to reach the arms up and then kind of fan out here like a reverse snow angel. And you're just going to work within your own comfort, as slow as you want to go. There is no really too slow here. First couple of times I did this, I was probably even slower. So we're not even going to count. I'm just going to kind of let you know when we're moving on, and however many reps you get in, that is okay. All right, let's reverse it now. So we're going to go out to the side. I even still feel pulling across my chest with this, and then come down the front. Make sure you're breathing here. Inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale, bring them down. All right, so we're only going to do things here at our safe limit. For right now, we are going to keep the arms not going past this 180. So we're working with just like a very natural range of motion for the pec. The pec also does internal rotation, so we're going to be working a lot of shoulder external rotation. Keep the elbows by your side. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, pulling those thumbs apart, and just work these elbows, this rotational movement from the shoulder, rotating at the elbow, bringing the hands in and out. Just a reminder, this is about today's Sunday, my third day now of doing these moves. So I have loosened up quite a bit. Gotta be really honest with you guys. This is just like anything in rehab or in exercise. Prior to doing this, the smallest movements hurt my chest. I felt like every move I made, if it had any resistance to it, I was getting like sharp pain in my pec muscle. Since I got the clearance to move, all of that pain has gone away. I feel so much better. I move with so much ease. Just in like 2 days, because I've been able to move, right? A body in motion stays in motion. We are meant to move. So the more we try to stiffen up and protect ourselves, just the more painful it is. So if you're struggling with pain, I'm telling you, once you start moving, once you start to get some blood flow to those pecs, it's going to feel a lot better. All right, let's take the arms up overhead again. All right, and from here, we're gonna interlace those fingertips together and bring the hands behind the head. We're gonna let the elbows come in, down on my knees. All right, now we're just gonna start to work those elbows away from each other. Again, does not have to be aggressive, just move. We don't need, to get to 100% range today. That's not the goal. We just want to work within a range that's challenging, giving a little stretch. All right, pause with the elbows out, then we're going to start to side bend. So a lot of restrictions aren't necessarily going to come from the pec muscle itself. We forget about the incision that goes, if you're like me, I have it underneath the breast, not the nipple, underneath the breast. And so when they cut through the muscle, they also cut through the fascia. And fascia is a long line of tissue. It's not individual like muscles. Let's start to twist a little bit here. So the fascia that runs through your left pec comes all the way across your body and into your right hip. So it's these big long sling patterns. And so when that fascia is cut, we're gonna have tension throughout that whole line. So a lot of the stretches and movements that we're going to do are going to involve trying to work that whole fascial line, not just stretching the pec itself. Let's twist one more time to each side. Just get the neck moving. I know myself, sleeping in a propped up position, I had a lot of tension to my neck. Look over the right shoulder, look over the left. Let's do that again. Okay. And the past week at work, I've been wearing something like this every day. I've just been really self-conscious. First of all, not being able to put something over my head, but also, being self-conscious of the weight gain. It's normal. We hold on to a lot of fluid after the surgery. We have the weight of the implants, and then you have the extra fluid, which kind of drops into your stomach area. So I totally get it. And not being able to work out, if you're watching this video, you more than likely are an avid exerciser, and having that stripped from you can be really challenging mentally, not just the pain and the discomfort in the chest, but also just like not being able to have that outlet that we're used to doing every single day. So I totally get it. And so if you're feeling some type of body image negativity, it is totally normal. Just, I am here with you and I get it. So yesterday, I finally started to feel like myself. And so now that we can start moving our arms, at the end of the workout or in the next module, we're gonna see that kind of opens up the door for a lot of other physical activity. So soon we're gonna get our life back. Okay, as we take it down to the floor, we're just gonna start laying on our back, letting our body assume a natural kind of, we call it anatomical position, letting the shoulder blades relax and working on breathing. So you can lay down on your back, and we're just gonna start with the arms down by our side. Nothing crazy yet. Palms up, And squeeze the shoulder blades together, allowing the back of the shoulders to touch the floor. And just take a few breaths here. Now what's going to be more painful or uncomfortable while we're on the floor in this position, like I already talked about gravity, is moving the arms to get into the stretch, because it's going to put a little bit of tension on those muscles, which it's totally fine. We're not doing anything too aggressive. We're not resistance training. We're just gonna feel it more. And then once you actually relax into the stretch, you're gonna feel more of that pulling, but you might get a little bit of pain, discomfort as we move into the stretch. So to reduce that, whenever we move the arms, we're going to keep the elbows bent. It's more strain, more resistance to the pec if we're trying to move the arms with this long lever, this long, arm that's away from the pec. When we shorten that by bending the elbows, it's a lot less resistance. So from here, just place your hands on your tatas. We're gonna slide those elbows out to the side and just chill here. So bringing the arms up is gonna start to stretch out those pecs a little bit, and just stay here taking really deep breaths. So we're gonna start by filling the belly with air, utilizing that diaphragm. But then working on filling those lungs all the way to the top so we can get that rib cage to expand, stretching out the intercostals, the muscles in between the ribs, and then also just a little bit that movement helps the pecs to stretch as well. So my arms are at about 180 degrees here. And then I'm just gonna take those hands and stretch them out into a T. If this is your first time doing this, it is the weirdest, greatest sensation. You can just feel it stretching from fingertip to fingertip all across your chest. Again, we are not rushing this at all. Bend the elbows, bring your hands back to your cha-chas. Let's start to lift the elbows up a little higher, and then reach those arms out even more. So reach the elbows out. So now we're starting to get into more of like a Y shape. This should be a bigger stretch to your pecs. Bend the elbows and bring the fingertips behind the head. And now we're just gonna lay in this kind of relaxed position here. Just feeling a stretch in different areas of the pec. If it's uncomfortable for your back, you can always bend the knees. Takes a little bit of pressure off the lower back. Actually, let's all do this. And we're going to work a little bit into that fascial line that we talked about with the incision. So from here, hands behind your head, let's just drop those knees to the right. Now with this, you might feel more of a stretch to the left pec, but also if you had the incision underneath the boob line, you're going to feel a pull maybe down by that incision area. Take a few breaths here. Keeping the hands where they are. Take the knees over to the left. Ooh. Now feeling that stretch increase in the right pec. Bring it back to the center. Bring the elbows together. Start to pull the hands out from behind your head. We're going to keep the fingertips interlaced, making a fist. Now, because we have the support of holding the hands together, this is going to be a lot easier than trying to reach overhead separately. So give your body that extra support, and we're going to start to take the arms back. So now we have to control the arms, letting that pec, letting the lat lengthen under a little bit of resistance. And then we're totally gonna relax here. We're gonna let all that tension go. If it's too much, you can just reverse it, bring it back up. But let's try to relax here with the arms all the way overhead. You can release those fingertips and just breathe. If you want a little bit more of a fascial stretch, we can reach those legs out, pointing the toes away from the fingertips, a full body stretch. Oh my gosh. Let's take 5 deep breaths. So when I left my doctor's office on Friday, again, because today is Sunday, so 2 days ago, he's very conservative. I said, can I stretch? He's like, yeah. And then I said, well, what about, I forget what I said. And of course, he's being very leery of giving me specific instructions because he thinks I'm gonna just go back to the gym and start bench pressing. I was very specific. I said, can I lay on the floor with my arms all the way overhead? He said yes, and I'm like, all right, that's about as aggressive as we can get here. So this is kind of our max. So point the toes, point the fingertips. All right, now we're gonna start to draw the elbows down, not full snow angel, but just draw the elbows down into this 90-90 position. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. We're gonna work a little bit of shoulder rotation. So bringing the hands up kind of towards the floor. Now if you have tight shoulders, it does not matter, but we're just gonna work this kind of external to internal rotation. The more you do this, you are going to feel like your normal self so much faster than if we keep acting like we have to protect them and not move them. We have to move. Okay, from here, bring the hands to the tatas. Slide the elbows in. We're going to be careful getting up here. Just kind of giving a full little sit up here, cross the ankles. Lay down on your side, which if I just got the clearance to sleep on my side, definitely check with your surgeon. I went from having to lay propped up. About 5 days later, I could lay flat, which unfortunately I'm a side sleeper. So now that I got clearance to lay on my side, doing much better. All right, so we're gonna work on thoracic spinal rotation, but also the pecs. So bottom leg straight, top leg over. We can also just do double knees bent. We're gonna start with the arms out here like a pancake, and then we are going to rotate. Now, I would encourage you to keep this elbow bent. When we straighten out this arm, it's gonna get a lot more juicy in the pec. So let's just work on this spinal rotation. All right, and I am doing this with you guys because I want you to see how slow and how long I really do hold these stretches. Again, this is the third day I'm doing these. The first day, I was making all kinds of noises. I had sensations across my chest that I had never felt before. It was wild. So if you want to make some weird oohs and ahs, but I really, really encourage you not to rush. Not to rush. Last night I laid on my floor for 30 minutes just feeling these different positions, breathing. Please do not hold your breath. You can see my elbow is still bent. Alright, so what I'm thinking about right now is trying to touch the back of my right shoulder to the floor. I'm not worried about my right elbow, I'm not worried about my right hand. I'm just breathing, letting this muscle relax. So we're definitely not trying to really push and stretch this pec to its full potential. It is just about letting it lengthen and relax in the motion that it's capable of right now. A lot of this is neurological tension, not so much that the muscle is structurally stiff. There is a little bit of that from the stitches. However, a lot of it is just this neurosystem. Now, if you're having a decent amount of pain, you can just stay here. If you're ready for the next, if you want a little bit more, we're gonna take this right elbow and straighten it out. Ooh, that's actually a little too much for me right now, so I'm just gonna stay here. Okay, before we move to the other side, another muscle that gets pretty tight, and this is a combination of the fascia that's been involved from the cut, but also from not being able to reach our arms overhead, and that's the lat. The lat stretches with full overhead motion, so we're gonna take the top leg and kind of drop it to the floor while the bottom leg is bent this time. And we're gonna take that right arm and just walk the fingers overhead. So we're creating a really big line, one straight line from the right toes all the way up to the right fingers. And we're just chilling. We are letting this all open up and stretch, getting this little bit of side body bend, and just breathing. So we will feel a little bit of this in the pec, a lot of lat, maybe some full side body. Once we start to move, also, you should see some of that fluid reduce as well. The lymphatic system is responsible for recycling that fluid, sending it back to your heart, and then that's actually how we get rid of it. And movement helps to facilitate that reuptake of fluid. And so the more that we start to move, that lymphatic system will start to get busy, we'll start to clear it out, and you'll notice, not only is your chest going to feel better, but also you're just gonna feel better overall because we're not as bloated and puffy. All right, let's start to walk those fingers down. Woo. Let's get one more rotation here. Bend the knees, reach the arm, maybe start to reach a little bit farther. Let's follow with the eyeballs. So we're gonna look towards that right elbow. If you want to stretch out that elbow, you can. Oh, adding the elbow makes it so much more intense. Breathe. Now, once you start to loosen up in a few days, these stretches, you can move through them a lot faster. They get a lot less painful. full, you're gonna loosen up quicker. But these first few days, I mean, we are not in a rush. This is something that, like I said, I did for 30 minutes last night, moving through maybe 5 or 6 stretches. Okay, let's take it over, over to the other side. Oh, we're gonna move very gingerly. I'm going to keep facing this direction so you can see now what it looks like from the other angle. Bottom leg straight, top leg bent, and we're gonna twist. So again, keeping that elbow bent, not really worrying about the pec at all right now. We're still gonna get a little bit of pec stretch, but really just trying to work this spinal rotation, thinking about taking this shoulder blade down to the floor. Keep breathing. So we're starting off with this thoracic rotation because your spine as your core, we need to be able to have a flexible, mobile spine for our whole life. And so surgeries like this, trauma, where we tend to stiffen up, if we don't intentionally try to regain the spinal movement, it is really, really easy for it to kind of become our normal way of living, where we just get really stiff and guarded from a structural standpoint, but again, also from a neurological standpoint. And then of course, the longer it stays stiff, the harder it is to get back. So we really want to make sure that we regain this full spinal mobility in addition to lengthening the muscle and then lengthening that overall fascia. Alright, so on this twist, I'm actually going to think more about what is my shoulder doing. So now I'm going to try to gently just reach this left elbow a little closer to the floor. I'm not straightening the elbow out yet. I'm just allowing my shoulder to have a little bit more movement here. Two more breaths. All right, let's work into that left lat. So bending the right leg, straightening out the left. And if you need to just walk those fingertips on the floor, that is totally fine. Also really normal for one side to feel tighter than the other. My surgeon said that my left pec was a lot tighter than my right. And because of that, he said that that side is going to have a little bit more trouble for the implant to drop into the pocket. And so I'm doing a lot more of my massage and my manual work on the left. Not a lot more, but I always try to do just like a little extra, because I know that this left side is a little bit tighter. So we're just gonna chill here and breathe, stretching out this left side. Deep belly breaths, taking air in through the nose, trying to puff up your stomach. But then also letting that rib cage expand. I'm a belly breather because we need to use our diaphragm effectively. Exercise and just with daily breathing. However, getting that good chest expansion, kind of filling the lungs all the way up to the top, is going to get us a nice natural stretch at the intercostals, as well as a little bit of those pecs as well. All right, slowly bring that arm back down. Turn and face you. Let's finish with just one more seated stretch. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Twist to the left. Twist to the right. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Interlace the fingertips together, bring the hands behind the head. Now we're gonna start to lean back, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, round, elbows together, giving those pecs a nice little break. Inhale, lift. And release. Okay, so that took us, we really only did maybe 6, 7 stretches. I want you to take it slow. Breathe. Let those muscles relax. The first couple of times you do it, it's going to take a while, but the more you move, the better you're gonna feel. Then we can start to move through that a little bit quicker, but I'm telling you, do not rush the first time you do this. All right? You're gonna feel better soon.